Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you if it's possible to run a Shimano 12-speed chain on your 11-speed group set. So let's go ahead, let's take a look. So here we have the Shimano 12-speed chain installed. So we got, obviously it's all 11-speed apart from the chain. So what I'll do is I'll just show you the first problem with this 12-speed chain. Right, so we're about halfway down the rear cassette there, and we're going to change from the inner to the outer chain ring, just so I can show you the problem with the change between the two on this 11-speed chain set. So as you can see there, it doesn't like changing between them. It changes better if you're further down. If you're right down only a couple off the bottom, for instance, it'll change not too bad then. It'll change pretty quick up onto the outer chain ring. But if you're anywhere further over on the cassette at the back, then when you go to change, it just gets hung up and it doesn't want to engage properly. So we have the 11-speed outer chain ring, and you can just see there the upshift pins there. There's one there and one there, so there's 4 in total. There's 2 of them. If you compare that to a 12-speed, you can see the pins there and there. They're a lot closer together. They're about 3 centimeters closer together on a 12-speed than on the 11-speed. So what we've done is swap the chain set out there for a 12-speed, and now we'll try it. Obviously the same gear at the back, whereas before it didn't like, on the 11-speed, it didn't like grabbing the chain to get it up onto the outer chain ring. So now it should work properly with the 12-speed and the 12-speed chain with the 11-speed derailleur and cassette. Right, so there you have it. Shifts absolutely fine, and that's with 11-speed front derailleur, obviously mechanical. 12-speed is only Di2 now, so that 11-speed derailleur picks that 12-speed chain up, as you can see there, absolutely fine. So there's the 12-speed chain, obviously on the 11-speed cassette. You can see there's plenty of room for it, obviously, because it's a narrower chain. So in fairness, it may be a bit quieter than the 11-speed because there's less chance of it rubbing against anything. It's got more room between the chain and the sprockets, because the chain, obviously 12-speed, is slightly narrower, so you might notice it may be actually slightly quieter, but that's neither here nor there. So as you see there, it changes up on this 11 speed cassette with the 12 speed chain, up and down, perfect, no problem with that whatsoever. So as a bit of a bonus, what I've done there is I've just put a 12 speed cassette, 12 speed chain, 11 speed mechanical derailleur, just to see if it was possible for it to work with that cassette, just out of interest. And no, you can't use an 11 speed derailleur with a 12 speed cassette. You just can't get it to index properly, obviously, because it's not compatible. But I thought I'd just try it, see if you could index the derailleur with the cassette, and no, you can't. So here we have some chains now. We've got a 10 speed, 11 and a 12 Shimano chains there. So the 10 speed, this one, that's 5.88 millimeters width from there to there on the outer plates. The 11 speed is 5.62 and the 12 speed is 5.25. So that's the difference between the 11 and the 12. That's 0.37 millimeter of a millimeter. So most noticeable thing, obviously, to show the difference, that's a 10 speed. If you look at the, because you can see it between the 10 and the 12 better. The roller in the middle, see the width of the roller there compared to the width of the 12 speed one, that makes it more obvious. There's not a lot of difference between the 11 and the 12, so you can't really see it so well. But obviously the more the number of cogs you got on the cassette, then the thinner the chain is, so as it doesn't rub against each sprocket of the cassette. Has to be thinner to pass through. The more number, obviously the higher the number of sprockets you got on the cassette. You're not going to be able to get a 10 speed on a 12 speed cassette, because the chain between the outer plates there is a lot wider, so hence it will get jammed in the rear cassette as it's going through. You can see the distance between gaps there, there and there. The gap between the inners there and there on these chains, even if they had a 9 speed chain here, 9, 10, 11, 12, that gap in here on them is the same. So that's 2.18 millimeter on those chains. Even if there's a 9 speed, it'd be the same. So the difference is obviously between the width of the chain here, between there and there. It needs to be narrower. Obviously the 12 speed is narrower, so the higher you go up, the more speeds. The single speed chain is really wide, and then it just gets narrower and narrower after so many increments. They get slightly narrower, obviously a single speed being the biggest chain, and then you go to 12 speed there. But the problem is, as you go up the number of speeds, the chain effectively gets less strong, so it's weaker the higher you go up the speeds. Most chain failure is to do with the way it's riveted together, etc., or maintenance, lack of maintenance, not the chain snapping itself. It's very rare to snap a chain. It usually breaks if you rivet it together. It usually breaks on the rivet, where it's been riveted together, because it was riveted together wrong, not the chain actually just snapping under load. So if you found the video helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.